Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sunday League Pundits powered by CoolBet. We've got the boys back. It's Brett, it's Waz, and it is me, Liam. This is a big podcast. This is a big episode for us, everybody. The last one of 2022.
Yeah, we're going to do a bit of a year in review here, but first I think what we're going to go over is a little bit of the trending headlines that have been kind of post-World Cup. It's crazy the World Cup ended and all of a sudden, football's back. It kind of feels weird to me. Does anyone feel like we've entered like the new era of football, the next phase after this World Cup?
That's a good question. I think we're too early to realize it. I think that's probably the best way to put it. We all know that was Messi's last World Cup, probably. Same with Ronaldo. Same with Luka Modric. You can go on and on with the amount of players that was the last World Cup for. And now you're seeing the changing of the guard. Hell, before we started recording this podcast, a 17-year-old in Ligue 1 scored a brace in the second half. The first time anybody under the age of 17 or 17 years or younger has scored a brace in the French league in over 50 years. We're going to start seeing a lot more of that now. I'm really excited to see I think that's a good question, Waz. The new wave is starting.
You mentioned young talent coming through, and there's a certain man that I'm thinking of. He goes by Cody Gakpo, and he's playing for Liverpool because you all are fucking dumb.
Shut up.
Manchester United. What happened? What actually happened here?
I'm confused. I can bring it up. Fabrizio Romano actually confirmed it because somebody added him and he went off on him. Let me go find the reply real quick.
We all know when Fabrizio goes off on somebody, it's class.
But it's just the insanity that happened here, because it was like me and Brett were saying before we hit record. 1 hour, Fabrizio Romano puts out a tweet saying Liverpool are speaking with Cody Gakpo. They're negotiating. So, the next hour, here we go. It's like, what?
Yeah. So Fabrizio did kind of go off on a guy on Twitter. It was kind of funny. This guy says he was literally talking about Gakpo going to United 24 hours before Liverpool signed him. Oh, so this comes from Remedy. I don't know why he deleted his tweet. He's a guy on TikTok, but Fabrizio says, probably you can't read, brother. I said and posted that Gakpo was 100% open to join United, and I could confirm that. I also added in the same post/videos that Man United never made any bid or club negotiations. It was up to them to decide internally about the Gakpo deal. This guy responds to him saying, 13.1 million account replying to one with less than 1K followers. Rattled much? Fabrizio says, I can also reply to you if you've got 154 followers, mate. Life is not about the amount of followers. We're just having a conversation.
That's a very fair point.
Exactly. What? So then people who have under 100 followers just aren't allowed to tweet. Shut up. It's so funny that after you get called out, you go, oh, now you're looking at me. Shut up.
You're rattled, clearly. No.
Yeah. To talk about the actual, like what he said in that tweet that really, really surprised me is Manchester United made no approach to sign Cody Gakpo.
So they had from the summer, they had a personal agreement agreed upon. They had it ready, but apparently they just never approached PSV with it. They never approached them back in the summer. They were talking about it, let the January transfer window open, and then Liverpool went, oh, okay, well, if you're going to wait and sit on the pot, then we're actually going to go and, make the move. And that's what happened.
And the move, it's only going to cost like 45 million pounds. Yeah. It's a hell of a deal. That's an insane price for a player who's already done it on the European scale with PSV and in the European competition, but also on the World Cup. He had a great World Cup, I thought, for the Netherlands.
Yeah, and I think it really kind of like set the alarms on, hey, you should sign me. Like, somebody get me to the Premier League.
I think it also set the alarms on Darwin fucking Nunez, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's kind of been his
shit.
Own.
You can say it.
It's been very disappointing.
That game versus City in the Carabao Cup, when he missed the exact same shot 5 times, I went, sir, stop. on net. First off, I don't care if it goes in. Just hit the big rectangle, please.
Hit the net.
Hit it.
Andy Carroll, make a fucking play, bro. I don't get it. I don't understand this guy.
Yeah.
He comes in for $100 million. They just signed Gakpo for literally less than half what they signed Darwin Núñez for, and Gakpo's going to do so much more. What is he doing?
What I put in our group chat is this? Okay, everyone's saying the same thing right now about Liverpool. They have too many attackers. They have Darwin. They have Firmino. They have Jota. They have Mohamed Salah. They have Luis Diaz. They have Jota. They have too many attackers. Is this the signing of Gakpo? Is this them getting prepared for Mohamed Salah leaving, Firmino leaving? Because those are two staples that have been there for 5-6 seasons now. And now you're moving the two of them on. You know what? You can have a front three potentially in the future of maybe Luis Diaz, Gakpo, and Darwin Núñez, who in theory are three young, exciting, attacking players.
Look, Darwin is 23 years old. I think he might have to be one of those players that kind of takes a little bit more time to transition to the Premier League, to get a little bit more confidence under his belt. I think
for
someone
$100 million though, you should not be
100%. And that's
how's your left winger,
right? But
fidget spinner.
If we're taking away the price tag, I think Darwin, he kind of reminds me of a young Robert Lewandowski when he first got to Dortmund, because when Lewandowski went to Dortmund, he only scored 8 goals in like 30-some games in his first season, and then really start scoring and producing until the second season. He struggled in that first year. He was doubting himself. He had confidence problems. So I'm just saying, Brett, like,
there's a difference between the Bundesliga and the Premier League, though. There's a difference when you're kind of struggling against Werder Bremen and struggling against Aston Villa. Or
I would say if you're struggling against Werder Bremen, it'd be a bigger shock than struggling against Villa, West Ham, Everton.
But then those clubs are better. It's easier for you to come out of that hole. If you're struggling against those teams, and finally in the first half of the season, the first season that you play, you go back to fucking, I don't care, to name a German side. They go play in Frankfurt, whatever, which is a difficult place to play. But you go out there and it's easier for you to bounce back in the Bundesliga than it is in the Premier League. I will agree
with that. I do think though Darwin Núñez has the capability of coming back and actually solidify himself as a very good talent for Liverpool. He's in the right team with the right manager, the right system, a system that likes to attack.
So I'm just looking at Darwin's stats last year: 10 games, 6 goals in the Champions League and the Portuguese league. Let me take a look here. Is there somewhere that says 21-22?
What are you looking at?
Liga Buin. He scored in 28 appearances, 26 goals. Mm-hmm. So that was the first division in Portugal. So
everyone was saying that he was scoring goals that he shouldn't have scored in Portugal. He was well above his expected goals in the Portuguese league. Mm-hmm. Now that he's come to England, everyone said if he does not convert those chances that he should not score, he'll be very average looking, which I think is what we're seeing right now. Maybe slightly below average, but very average looking. If he can start to convert and get a little bit of luck, maybe those numbers look a lot better. He walks out of that season with 10, 12 goals. You know what? You're going, you know what? Hey, first year, we're cool. Let's do it kind of thing.
Yeah, but Martial does it, and we're all on fucking ice anyways.
Martial does not score 10 goals a season, okay? The man has he has 10 trips to the hospital. That's about all he has. Okay?
Listen here. Okay, we're going to move on. I think
to Liverpool, here we go. Great signing. Incredible signing.
I'm just impressed on how fast they got the deal done, to be honest. That was
fantastic. I can't wait to see him in the Premier League.
Now, time to get into the year in review football edition. We're going to start all the way from January. We're going to look at each headline from each month. Let us know in the comments. Send us messages on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Let us know what headlines we missed, which ones we should be talking. There's lots.
Before we do get into these headlines, let's just quickly say what an insane year this has been. 2022, only for the world of football, which we've seen the World Cup. We've seen huge things happening in the world of football. But also, our channel. Look at what's happened to the Sunday League Pundits, the 90th minute. I know we'll get into that in one of the later months as we go through the headlines, but just What a wild 12 months it has been.
No, without a doubt. Also, before we get sorry, happy birthday to Brett.
Oh yeah!
The king,
Gracias,
the big
y'all.
lad.
I
I'm
appreciate
sorry
it.
to tell you that the kingpin. You're the kingpin, man.
I could be Vincent D'Onofrio. I'll take
I'm
that.
sorry. I've been playing the new the Spider-Man game, and
Oh yeah,
it's really
yeah.
good.
No, I hear that. It's okay. I've been watching how they made the Godfather. It's called The Offer. Oh
Wow.
yeah, I'm feeling my Italian side coming out.
Yeah,
That's for
you
sure.
get your gabagool, Tony Soprano. Anyways,
Let's go to January, baby.
all right, January. I tried putting together some headlines. So in January, we had the African Cup of Nations. Senegal won over Egypt. I can confirm I did not watch a single minute of the African Cup of Nations. I don't really know where to watch it.
There was a couple wild games. I mean, and then there's a whole refereeing controversy.
It's crazy
Just
to
stopping
think, like,
the game with 10 minutes to go. Like
This is true,
sometimes those
actually.
African Cup of Nations are just incredible scenes.
Who then went on to referee in the World Cup
Yes,
as
sir.
well.
Had a good old game there as well.
Yeah, no, the AFCON was lit. That's the thing.
It
You
was
go
good.
back and watch some of those matches. First of all, the atmosphere is nearly unmatched. Just constant drums and instruments just playing in the background, a bunch of singing, all the dancing and everything like that. And the play is fantastic too. Obviously, these are all professionals and fantastic players and everything like that, some of them playing in the top 5 leagues around Europe. But you get just fantastic talent, players that are playing with true passion, supporters that are there with true passion, and you see what happens when that passion comes all together, when penalties happen, when they have all those lasers and stuff like that. And that's how Egypt eventually ended up losing in the AFCON final as well, and not playing in the World Cup.
Like we do have to remember, AFCON is the African equivalent to the Euros. And I mean, you see what the Euros mean to players like Cristiano Ronaldo, who had his biggest international achievement winning the Euros. So winning AFCON for Sadio Mane, what an achievement that was for Senegal.
Yeah, no, I get agreed. Yeah, African Cup of Nations. It's crazy to think, Senegal, they make the World Cup. They had brought their supporters, but Egypt, on the other side, they made the final. They didn't even make the World Cup, right? It's always interesting to see these clubs countries who go far in their international competitions don't even make the World Cup. I mean, Italy, Euros, right? A couple of years ago, you can say the same for Chile, who won back-to-back Copas, didn't make the 2018 World Cup, which was wild. I think that's incredible. I don't know how that happens. Like,
it's weird. It's very weird.
But January, I think the biggest headline is one we don't want to talk about, but we should bring up is Mason Greenwood got arrested. It's crazy to think that happened all the way. Yes, agreed, 100%. It was just it shocked the footballing world. Such a young man, basically throwing his life away, throwing his footballing career away. There was so much promise. He was known as the star boy at Manchester United. And fortunately, I don't know how else to put it, sorry, but like he's a piece of shit.
It's a difficult thing, and that's why it's worth talking about, because if you do hide behind something like this, you're half enabling it as well, and putting to light the absolutely disgusting acts that people do commit like that. You need to realize that these are yes, they may seem like you look at all the superlatives that you gave Mason Greenwood, the wonder kid, the golden boy, all this and that, but there's still human beings who can make horrendous mistakes. And yes, look up to these players, you look up to the Ronaldos, look up to the Messis, the Beckhams, the whoever you want to look up to, but you have to realize that when they do make those mistakes, and I half-heartedly call it a mistake, because what he did was wrong. It is disgusting hearing some of the clips that come out of it, the photos.
I couldn't even. Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's half of it as well, is that social media is so prevalent today that I think the next generation is going to be so desensitized to some of the stuff that's going to come out, because for so long they've been able to see shit like that on social media. And now that's why I think it's very important to talk about this. On top of it as well, it also has football repercussions too. Heck, what are the odds that if he didn't do all this disgusting shit, if he did stay on the field, what are the odds that we would have been seeing him at the World Cup?
Yeah.
Now we
Yeah.
don't have all these conversations around Manchester United about winger issues. Jadon Sancho's not with the team. Now Garnacho's now this wonder boy for United now too. Now you have all of these, it's a chain reaction that happens because of a disgusting human being.
It's
And-
like how Waz said he ruined his footballing career in one simple moment. We have to also say and remember he also ruined lives of
Yeah.
other people
Yeah,
along
he
the way.
affected
There's a
someone-
victim in this.
So you know,
yeah, there is.
he gets headlines and he gets the name on the bottom of this page right now, but he's not the name that deserves to be talked about. Really, you know, we should talk about people who are really affected by this, who actually
100%.
matter throughout it all.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you know, a lot of trauma can come from an event like this. Not only from, you know, being, I can't, it was abuse, right?
It was rape.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, it's traumatic. No other words to put it. And yeah, I only wish the best for the victim going forward. Honestly, you gotta hope for the best. But it is a headline that needed to be talked about. I know it's something we don't want to talk about, but it's important to talk about because you know Mason Greenway is probably not the only person in the footballing world who's done something like this. There's probably tons of footballers who have got so much pain, but it's closed behind closed doors. You know, there's a lot of, you know, it's in every sport. We see it in hockey here in Canada. We see money talks, right, Brett? So it's a shame, but it is the world we live in. But sometimes it's important to talk about stuff like this.
Yep. No, 100%. Let's get back onto the pitch, though, as the players who are still on the pitch. Tottenham and Manchester City. This was a fun one, and this was in February, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. This was Conte was the manager for Tottenham. No, at this time. Am I not?
believe so. I don't
believe
remember.
so. I do
Yeah.
believe so.
I will check, but
But I do remember this game, and I mean, I you know, it was a bit of a shock because it was our Spurs for real. Like we
Yeah.
opened this season and we went, are Tottenham gonna win this league? You know, and I believe when we made our prediction, I could pull up my predictions actually right now for when we made our Premier League predictions.
it was Conte, by the way.
It was Antonio
Yeah.
Conte, yeah. But when I made my Premier League predictions for this season, I had Tottenham finishing third. And after this first few matches, I went, are they for real? Like, is this actually going to happen? Because Tottenham looked very, very good. It hasn't played out perfectly so far this season, but they're still up there. Still in the conversation.
And it was a different Tottenham side we were starting to see, a team that they were still playing from the back, but you saw a brand new Heung-min Son. Sonny was fantastic last season. Harry Kane as well, obviously, too. And that was coming out of Kulusevski note too, right?
Kulusevski, you had Perisic on the wing as well. You know,
Perisic was this summer.
He was this summer. You were very right. I'm so
Perisic was
sorry.
this summer. Kulusevski, I believe, was in January of last year, and this would have been one of his first matches now playing too. And I remember too just how wonder boyish too almost he was. I think this was probably Kulusevski's game where everybody went, "Oh, he's for real."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's always great to watch Manchester City lose. I got to be honest.
Yeah, can't lie. No,
It's
you can't lie.
fantastic to watch them lose.
And then aside from that, we also had the Champions League return in February. The round of 16 kicked off in February. Atletico Madrid, Manchester United was one of the mouth-watering ties. You also had PSG and Real Madrid.
That was a great game as well.
But just to remember, the round of 16 was only in February, the first leg. So PSG defeated Real Madrid 1-0 in the first tie. And then United, Atletico Madrid was 1-1. Other big results, I mean, nothing crazy. Bayern defeated Salzburg 8-2 in aggregate.
Because these were still when away goals were a thing, right?
I don't
Was
think
this
so.
not the last time?
This is last year's competition. Yes,
Right. And so,
I think away goals were taken away for last season. I think.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, never mind then. But because I'm trying to remember, because United lost obviously to Atletico Madrid.
Shocker.
And shut the fuck up. Sorry, how's Celtic doing in European football? Anyways,
We're doing great.
because there was something that happened in that second leg. I remember that. What was the score in that second leg, Wazzy?
Let me see here. Also, the away goal rule was abolished.
It was at that time. Perfect.
Yeah. In the second leg between PSG and Real Madrid.
No,
Of us, United and
1-0
Atletico.
Atletico. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So they
What
finished
happened?
2-1. I can't remember, but I do remember what you're talking about. There was something controversial. I can't remember. It was an offside, VAR,
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, but still, those knockout stages, man, they were just. We've been treated to some really good football.
oh yeah.
This like really important good football. You know what I mean?
I really do think that these Champions League competitions are just getting better and better and better every year because there's upsets happening all the time. It seems just big games happening.
But yeah, February was a bit of a quiet month aside from the Champions League thing. I don't remember anything else crazy happening. If we move on to March now, we still had Champions League. The round of 16 wrapped up. But also World Cup qualifying wrapped up. It's crazy to think that World Cup qualifying wrapped up this past March and the World Cup just happened. It's
Dude, I think about us going to the Mexico and the Costa Rica matches, and I still think that was this year.
No, it was
Like
just
that
a year
was
and a half ago.
2021.
Yeah.
The only reason I remember that it wasn't this year's because when I went back and watched our match day vlogs, I went, there was snow on the ground. Oh God, that's a year ago. Like,
yeah.
It felt so weird that to think that was a full calendar year ago, and here we are watching Canada in Qatar.
Yeah,
and that's the thing though. I remember in March when they clinched, and it wasn't against Jamaica too. I believe it was against Jamaica, and I just remember crying.
I remember that. Yeah, you were in tears,
dude, because everything. Think of then. We'll get into the World Cup as well, but think after the first game of the World Cup, and everybody's going, "Oh shit,
yeah,
Canada's probably for real here. What's going on?" And I remember sitting back there in March and just going, man, like it's 36 years in the making before any of us were born, we're even a thought in our parents' balls. And here we are. We're watching Alphonso Davies an Edmontonian, a proud Edmontonian, lead this team to places that we never thought were genuinely possible. Think about playing FIFA when we were younger and how think about even trying to get Canada into the game to begin with. But then when you did get Canada into the game, they're like a star, maybe half a star, because Atiba Hutchinson is your best player right now or whatever, right? But now you look back and Atiba's still on the team, but you look on the team and you got guys, hell, we're even watching, we all have Jonathan David on our screens right now, who's going to be making a Premier League move at some point this year. Hell, he almost fucking scored as we're talking right now. So you sit there and it was really, I don't want to say the start of the development for Canada, but I think it was the start of the development on the world stage. It was, now you see it.
I think back then when we first qualified for the World Cup, it was easy to get excited. It was easy to get hyped up for this team. People told us, "Oh, you're not going to do anything at the World Cup," but we wanted to believe, man. We saw what this team was able to do and how they were able to play in CONCACAF. And sure, it was against Jamaica. They beat them 4-0, but they were a fun team to watch. They went to the World Cup. They did well against Belgium, not so well against Croatia, but they put up a fight.
Go ahead. Good.
And we keep saying too, like, this is just the beginning. This is the start of the process for 2026.
That's basically what I was going to say. Is I think when you're doing qualifying for World Cup, you take it one match at a time. Okay, we got to beat Mexico. Okay, we have to beat Costa Rica. Okay, we have to beat the U.S. And you get those victories, and you get a little bit of a roll. You go, oh my God, we're qualifying for this tournament, which, like we said, has never happened during our lifetime. Insane to watch that. We're so used to watching a 4-0 defeat in Honduras or El Salvador and just getting embarrassed pretty much. But when you actually think about qualifying, you actually have qualified, then you get to the tournament. Now is thinking about, okay, development, getting the right pieces to the puzzle, the right system in place. And I think Canada are on an okay enough track. If they can get their shit together at a more of a federation level now, they can now go into 2026 as a host nation going, guys, we can win a game here. the format's still up in the air for FIFA right now, but as far as I understand, it's a 3-team group. I don't know if that's been changed.
I hope not.
Can you not beat a team maybe and get yourself in the conversation?
Oh, for sure.
And that's the thing. You win a game, you move on to the knockouts.
Yeah.
Now that's the thing. Now we have the goal out of our way here. You just go, okay, get a point, get a win, move on. That's all that you have to do now. But yeah, we're way ahead of our time right now. We're still in March here.
Yeah, and also a big result to talk about in March was there was a massive upset. North Macedonia defeats Italy. Italy does not qualify for the World Cup.
Fantastic.
That was
fantastic.
Fuck you, Guinea.
Throwback to when North Macedonia beat Italy in March, man. That was and then
Never forget.
Never forget. At the Euro, like if you're looking at the second round here, Poland somehow managed to get into the World Cup because their game against Russia got canceled. They were supposed to play Russia in like a quarter, like a semifinal, but since that game got canceled, Poland got a bye into the final to play Sweden, which they defeated 2-0 and get to the World Cup. So Poland,
of course, you guys ruined Zlatan coming to the World Cup.
I don't think he was gonna. I think
actually, that's probably a good point. The state that we're in now. Are you kidding me? You don't want to see Anthony Elanga? Sorry. Anyways, move on.
Scotland had to play Ukraine, and there was some emotional power driven behind the Ukrainians, and
you guys were both dicks.
They were pretty good. Ukraine came out of nowhere. It was like, hey guys, we're gonna play some prime 2010 Barca tiki taka football. We're like, excuse me?
Yeah, it's almost like they were influenced or something.
But. Yeah, the top goal scorers during qualify, though, by the way, throughout all of qualifying, Ali Makbukbet, I can't pronounce his name. I think from UAE.
Yeah, he's my favorite player.
Yeah, Kyle Larin with 13 goals, second place.
Hey!
Chinese striker Wu Lei with 12.
Wow.
Wu Lei. And it's crazy to think some of these country players who were top scorers didn't even make the World Cup, right? So
that happens when you're playing.
But let's move on to April, where things started to get a little spicier, I think. We have the Champions League quarterfinals and semifinals. Man United confirmed Ten Hag as manager. And unfortunately, Ronaldo's family, his wife, they went through a tragic loss.
It was a very big month for Manchester United. I remember April. Yeah. What is happening?
Well, when we talk about Ronaldo and his family, losing the child, I just remember the footballing world really coming together and showing a lot of love for Ronaldo. And it was just incredible because, Ronaldo the last few months hasn't had the best headlines, but, he hasn't had a good year. That's fair to say. And it was incredible to see just, like I said, the footballing world unite and say, hey, Ronaldo, we're standing by you and your family.
I think the most beautiful thing was when Liverpool, they were playing Manchester United was playing Liverpool, and Liverpool sang at the 7th minute, "You will never walk alone." Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, you're able to kind of take a step back and go, this is obviously more than football, and being able to see your guttural rivals sit there and give somebody who has given them fits for a very long time that type of tribute because of something that's human was really something that really stuck with me.
No, for sure. It sometimes real life transcends football, so it's great to see that the people actually took a moment to respect Ronaldo and his family. If we want to talk about Ten Hag, though, is he finally the man? Is he finally the man to do the job that has been talked about now for a decade since Ferguson left?
I think he's been doing a good job so far. I'm not going to go
on. Luke Shaw played center back yesterday and looked class. Yes, he's the guy.
Yeah, I think right now everything's been kind of going according to plan for Ten Hag. It's going at the right speed.
Has it though?
I think so. I don't think it's good. It should be a rush thing,
No, right? I completely agree with you. But think of the shit that he's had to deal with already.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, the Glazers might sell, which is an absolute godsend. Ronaldo has done his deal, and through the entire thing, he's kept the ship afloat.
Yeah, so
he has had some, interesting things with players. I mean, we've seen probably the best of Marcus Rashford for the past little bit. We've seen him kind of rejuvenate. We've also seen the downfall of players like Jadon Sancho, and people are saying he's done. He's going to be
No,
leaving.
I don't think so.
I
I think I don't really know. I don't really know much of what's going on there, but it is a weird situation. But to be fair, Sancho wasn't necessarily a Ten Hag buy. I think it was a Solskjaer buy, right? Like,
well, I'm not saying about the buy. I'm saying just how he's being able to deal with some of these players. They're all.
We'll have to see. It's up to Sancho. It's up to Ten Hag, right?
But that's the thing. It's all everybody who goes, oh, he's done, oh, he's this, are all people from outside of the organization who have zero understanding of what's actually going on. Obviously, inside Sancho's head, you have zero idea what's going on with Jadon Sancho. So, and I still think Jadon Sancho has shown moments of brilliance at times. I mean, hell, he scored a beautiful goal against City earlier this year, and like he has shown those moments. I think there were numerous, especially under Ragnick, just times where the confidence wasn't shown or wasn't given to him. And now Ten Hag has said, you know what? Do what you need to do. We know the type of player you are. We know the quality that you can bring. Go find yourself. Do whatever you need to do and come back when you're ready and be the player you can be.
It is strange because I mean, Sancho, apparently he missed a few of their games. He hasn't played since October. Like, something's going on there with him. I don't know.
Well, he's taken a leave of absence from the team.
Well, good for him. I hope he can find his best. I mean, he is only 22. I think age does play a factor. I think people forget how still young he is at 22, right? So it's not like he's in his late 20s, 30s, right? He still has a lot of time to really come back and show what he's worth.
I think for Ten Hag, a big achievement this season would be to lift a trophy. Yeah. Could the Carabao Cup be that trophy? I mean, you're into the quarterfinals. You're playing Charlton. If you don't beat Charlton, Brett, I have some strong words for you, okay?
I hear that. No, I didn't. I watched Charlton play a couple days ago, so fair enough. You say it is at the Carabao Cup. Is it the Europa League? Hey, what if it's the Premier League? I know
you're in fifth. You're in fifth.
Okay. But listen,
you're in the running still. You're not out of the running, but
I know we're not out of the running because
go ahead.
Actually, you know what, you say your piece now.
I've been here, done that with United before. I don't want to get too excited when it comes to the Premier League. I'll go if there's a chance, awesome. But for now, I'm just taking like one game at a time.
So you mentioned, Liam, they are currently sitting fifth thanks to Ten Hag. They are in the same spot they were last year. However, the other clubs around them aren't. Tottenham currently sit only 1 point above United with a game over. They have one more game than United. City has a game while we're recording this. They have a game in a little bit here, but they're only 3 points ahead of United. Newcastle, we all know how good Newcastle's doing now, second in the league, but is that sustainable? Probably not. We shall see. They have 33 points, and that's only 4 above United. So technically, United's only 4 points behind from second. Now, Arsenal, 40 points in first place right now. That is a lot steeper than the 29, but I think we can all agree that Arsenal is a little fragile and probably don't have what it takes right now. I'm not saying that they do or don't, but they probably they will or won't, I should say, but they probably don't right now have the ability to really ride out the rest of the season. I still think
I think every week we're waiting for Arsenal to slip up and to fall off top spot, but they haven't yet. Same with Newcastle. I think we keep saying, oh, Newcastle, they have to lose, they have to concede a couple goals, they have to have a bad game, but they're just not. So I thought, hey, anything is possible in football, and especially anything's possible at the top of the Premier League. That top 5, top 7 will change dramatically before this season ends, I think. But I think if you can win the Carabao Cup, that'll be a big old success for Eric Ten Hag's first season.
I agree. Wazzy, where are we going next?
We are going to May We had the Champions League final.
Hey.
Real Madrid defeated Liverpool. 1-0, I think.
Yeah.
It was Vinicius Jr. getting the winning goal there. You also had obviously the Premier League winners confirmed. Man City win the Premier League. I think that came down to the wire the last match day. Liverpool City, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Liverpool, they were trading goals in like the 75th minute.
Yeah.
And like fans were going crazy because obviously now with phones, all the supporters know what the score is, when the score is happening. And you could hear them going, one more, you need one more, come on, and stuff like that. I love that. That was so I heard a lot of people talking around the World Cup going, you can't have all these games at the same time. You can't, it's the last day. You can't have. Why? It makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, it makes it very dramatic.
It makes it so much more dramatic because you don't know what's actually. If you're on the pitch, you don't know what's going on. If you're a supporter, you probably have some sense of what's going on, and if you're on your couch, you know exactly what's going on. But that's exciting. That's what makes it fun. Look at what happened between Japan and the entire group there. Like
and you need to have them all at the same time because there's been previous World Cups where teams have known the result and then they play for a draw or something. That's not football. That's not how this works. So yeah, I mean the final day where when City did win the Premier League in very dramatic fashion, very exciting fashion. You can't beat moments like that.
No, definitely not. And I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
I do want to go back to the Real Madrid game because I think that was the moment. Well, I'll pose this question to you guys first. Who do you think is the best goalkeeper in the world?
I do lean towards Allison.
Fair enough.
Maybe
I do agree though with what you're about to say. I do agree.
Yep.
Is it Courtois? I'm not too sure right now. It's hard for me to say.
See, and that's fair. But I think Thibaut Courtois put himself out there in that final and showed himself to be, especially at the time. I think Allison's very good. Ederson's very good as well. But Thibaut Courtois can just do things that hell, even look at what Thibaut Courtois did in the World Cup, making that horrendous Belgian team look better than they actually were, and probably won that game for Belgium against Canada. Like, he consistently goes out there, no matter the stage, no matter the game, no matter what's on the stakes here. He goes out there and plays fantastic football and gives his team a chance to win every single game. 100%. I love Thibaut Courtois, and I think that was that Champions League final kind of cemented it because he was under pressure that entire game. Like Real Madrid only scored on that counter from Vinicius, and could they have had a couple more? Maybe. But other than that, like, they were under pressure, man. And look who they played. It was Liverpool. Am I not wrong there? Yeah. So there you go. And Allison versus Courtois, and Courtois came out on top.
No, for sure. And I think that European run for Real Madrid cemented them as a true European team because I don't think anyone really predicted them to win the tournament. They were not underdogs, they're definitely outsiders potentially to win the tournament, and they had just good result after good result, grinding out victories versus Chelsea and stuff like that, where they looked down and out, but then they would come back, and it was because not of one man, but Karim the Dream Benzema, absolutely fantastic form for his club.
Yeah. Should we move on to June or
Let's do it.
Also, shout out Frankfurt as well for winning the Europa League.
Also true. Barcelona. There was actually two headlines in June. Brett, I forgot to mention one to you earlier. But we'll start off with one. It was Finalissima happened in June 1st. Italy versus Argentina. I was hyped for this match. I thought it was pretty cool. You know, Argentina winners the Copa, Italy winners the Euro, go head to head. I thought that was kind of cool. I know it's kind of like a Mickey Mouse trophy. It's kind of whatever, a friendly.
Nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew if it was a friendly or if it was for real. We were all
yeah, it's true. It's like, but I thought it was kind of cool. You know, it was kind of like a a preview of what we'll see from Argentina at the World Cup, right? So I don't know. I put a lot of emphasis on Finalissima being a serious trophy, and Brad, I think, was like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, this is why Messi's the GOAT. He won Messi Finalissima. Ronaldo none. Where is he? Right? So
I'm not gonna argue with that.
It didn't exist when he won the Euros.
That would've
It's
been
okay.
cool.
We move. We move. Let him have this one.
But Cristiano, you could not win the trophy that you didn't even play in.
Yeah,
It
you're
would be
shit.
cool to see Finalissima from 2016 versus what would be Brazil. I won that Copa, like you know.
This entire GOAT conversation. I'm sorry. Did you see Pele winning Felicima? I didn't. He's a joke.
Yeah. And then the other big headline that actually came around in June that we forgot about was that the 2026 World Cup cities were announced. And we were heartbroken because our city, Edmonton, was not selected. Understandably so, I think. And, Liam, you mentioned this in our last podcast, how Edmonton really does not have the infrastructure. They have the stadium, not really the infrastructure to host a World Cup. I mean, our transit system here is brutal. Can it change in 4 years? We've been trying to fix it for how many years?
We've been trying to build one fucking line for how long?
We don't even have debit machines. You can't even pay for your train ticket here in Edmonton with debit or credit. You can't. It has to be changed. It's fucking bullshit.
Is that true?
And that's the thing.
Yeah. You can't.
What year are we in?
I went to Calgary. You're able to do that, but here in Edmonton, go ahead.
You can at Century Park, and that's it.
You can sign up for some kind of card that kind of works, but at the same time, it's like, bro, why can't I just tap on the machine and get a train ticket?
What I think I said last time about Edmonton's infrastructure is we don't actually think we're a major city until we go, wait, we can bid for a World Cup? Oh, we're huge. Like, no, you're not. You're Hicktown, Canada, pretty much.
I don't think it was that bad.
We got a mall and a stadium and some guy named Connor. That's about all we got.
Hey, watch your lip about that.
I love Edmonton. It's my hometown, but I always compare. I've been to San Jose. It kind of reminds me of San Jose, where there's not really much there, but it's kind of there. And
San Jose is a barren wasteland, bro.
Yeah, there's not much going on. It's got it's a bit of a tech city.
And that's the thing. San Jose, I have a bad transit story with San Jose. They stopped their trains at like 10 p.m. The event ended at 11.
Brett, sorry to cut you off. It's kind of like Edmonton and Calgary, where the nicest city is just down the road, San Francisco.
Literally, yeah. We had to take an Uber to San Francisco. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
And then when I do look at the host cities that are announced, I mean, the Canadian ones, Toronto. I mean, it's Toronto. They're going to always be involved. But Vancouver really, I think, will put on a great show for Canada. Because maybe their stadium, BC Place, is not the biggest, but it's a great venue and a great location. I mean, I have this image in my head of the aerial shots that will be given during that World Cup, and it's going to make Canada look so gorgeous on the water with the mountains. It's going to look so good. Toronto, metropolis then of Canada is Toronto, so they'll put on a good show, of course. But then you go into the States, into Mexico. There are some fantastic host cities, and 2026 World Cup, I think it could surpass 2022. It could.
Hot take.
Could.
I think that's a good point, because I think Vancouver is the best city in Canada. Yeah. Period. I love Calgary. I was going to say Calgary. I love Vancouver.
You don't love Grand Cache?
Oh, careful. Oh, careful. I know one person from Grand Cache, and that has set the baseline for anybody from Grand Cache for a while. But no, I think Vancouver is going to be, like you said, by the water, but look how close it is to
Seattle.
Anything nature. Look at Capilano. Take a look at going anywhere for a hike. Like, people who are going to be visiting Vancouver for the World Cup are going to be in for such a treat. And that's the thing. Like, we sit here and we go, Vancouver, beautiful city. Toronto is Toronto. We all know Toronto, but then there's New York as well, Los Angeles, San Francisco. You get to go to one of the most beautiful stadiums in the world in Monterey. Like, you get to really get an entire feel of what North America is, and you don't have to go to Winnipeg for it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mundare, Alberta.
Shout out to sausages.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think just to wrap up with this conversation, to bring it back to Edmonton, we talked about it on the last episode, Liam, just how piss poor it was to get out of the stadium. Think about, first of all, those were mostly Canadians, but then think about trying to get England and Morocco, trying to get their supporters. Think of trying to get the Moroccan supporters alone out of that arena, then trying to get the English supporters out. Oh, and then by the way, in 2 hours we also have France versus Peru. And now we have to get all the French supporters in while we're pumping out the English supporters, and everybody's just in a little sardine going. You won't be able to have a guy going trains that way, because he is just in the midst of everybody. There's not at all. I remember sitting, like, walking around there going, there's no way. First of all, there's no way you can have a World Cup in that area because there's nothing around there. You have to bus or train to Jasper Avenue or White Avenue to do anything. And then to have some sort of party or whatever, that area is not at all fit to have that many people in that area. Yeah. We all know what the homeless situation is around there as well. Like, it's just, it's not great.
What I'm excited for, though, as a Canadian perspective, will be Canada in a World Cup in the summer. Because, this World Cup was, of course, the winter for us. I watched the entire World Cup series that Simon Wilson put up on YouTube, where he went to every single World Cup country I was playing, and he was watching live in fan parks and everything. And I went, I wish we could have had that during the World Cup. I wish we could have watched Canada score that first goal surrounded by 10,000 Canadians. Hopefully 2026, Churchill Square, downtown Edmonton, hopefully we can fill that.
We got that place, Ice District. They'll be packed.
Oh, yeah, Ice District.
That's where the Oilers hosted their playoff parties. That's actually pretty cool.
Like,
I would everyone into Ford Hall. Fuck it.
Yeah. I'd love to watch stuff like that with Canadians surrounding us.
Just moving on now. We talked. That was a great conversation there. To July, where the transfers started to heat up. We had obviously Lewandowski to Barca, De Ligt to Bayern, Koulibaly to Chelsea, Eriksen to United, Los Angeles. Will Grigg, Sunderland to MK Dons. Massive deal there.
Huge.
I forgot he existed.
He's still on fire, baby. Yeah. He's still on fire.
That's a tough loss for Sunderland.
It really is. The Black Cats, I don't think they've ever actually recovered from the loss of Will Grigg. They're not good enough for the rest of the world's football.
But July and August, it was kind of I think that's where we officially became the part of the Playmaker family.
Yeah, I think we signed the contract then.
We signed and did everything in
finally signed the contract, by the way.
And then we announced in August. So it's been an interesting transition period. Obviously, we had to go from the 90th minute podcast to the Sunday League Pundits. Just a few brand things here and there, a different look. But other than that, it's been fun. It's kept us consistent with podcasts and kept us in the footballing world, honestly.
And it's given us a lot of support as well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you guys now know Caroline and Liam as well, and they've done a great amount of stuff on their side too, but it also gives us support when we're sitting there going, are we doing the right things? And then we can run it through somebody and go, hey, you're doing this, you're doing that well, or you need to work on this and that. And it just really helps you get a sense of direction. And truly we do it because of you guys. Like, this isn't something that we did because there's money bags or whatever. It's because we want to produce content that's engaging to you, stuff that you guys want to see, and we're still working on that. Like, this is 6 months into this deal, and we're still finding ways to bring you good quality content. We haven't even finished, we're not even halfway through the FIFA career mode.
The podcasts have been more consistent. I mean, sometimes, hopefully, more twice a week, as I've always said. And then you've had Kickback, you've had Nathan joining on the TikTok side of things. He's doing well there.
A few sponsors like CoolBet and Uber. That was kind of massive. I know Uber was kind of everywhere, but they did help us with the World Cup and stuff. And
being able to cover that World Cup and be live for pretty much every single match day was fantastic.
61 hours.
61 hours. That seems like not very much, but when you actually think about it, you go, those were long days, man. You know, Maddie carried a hammer for about 60 of those 61 hours. There was a couple raves. We played Zombie, I think 844 times.
Yeah,
I danced.
You
I
did dance. You had Shakira moments with your hips. They did not lie.
Yeah.
I mean, but they said the FIFA career mode that will be coming back. You know,
Yes.
Yes, the World Cup is ended. We, to be hands up fair, we took a bit of a break with Christmas right now and then New Year's. We're going, boys, let's sit down for 5 minutes, please. I'm tired. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
We have an IRL coming at some point that we filmed in like October,
like 5 months ago. There was no snow on the ground. Since then, we've had minus 45 for a week straight.
Yeah, it's like knee deep. But no, we filmed this yesterday. Trust me.
No, we have content. And it is coming out, and we will get back into the swing of FIFA and different content that we know you guys love. For the podcast, they'll be consistent.
Yeah.
Moving on to August, we just kind of briefly went over the whole playmaker thing, but also the Premier League returned, club football returns. Yeah, nothing major than that. I mean, there was a few big scorelines. I think the United lost twice or something, and then everyone thought the world was on fire, and then United won.
4-0 to Brentford that's what happened.
Oh, right, yeah, that happened. Yeah,
and we were wearing this 7-Up fucking jersey. Okay,
that was a good kid. I like it.
I can't. Here's the thing about this kit. Objectively, I think it's a nice kit, but for United, it makes 0 sense.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
0 sense. But I like the kit. I think it's nice. But yeah, we lost 4-0 to Brentford, and everyone's like, fucking sack 10 off.
Get him out. Get him gone. Baldy had figure it out.
Yeah.
And
big wins too. We had Fulham come up. Nottingham Forest was slapping as well. Who's the Bournemouth? Bournemouth.
Yeah. But I think when football did come back, it was a very condensed schedule because of the World Cup halfway through. So there was a lot of Premier League games very quickly early on.
This podcast is going a little longer than I think we anticipated, but moving on, I think.
Flying here.
Yeah. Now September, the Champions League returns. FIFA 23 is released. And Chelsea sacked Tuchel, bringing Graham Potter. Some of the big headlines there.
Thomas Turtle, baby. Shout out to Thomas Turtle.
Where's he going to go next?
Who the fuck cares?
I think it's smart that he waited this long.
Yeah.
Waited for after the World Cup. Look at some of the World Cup spots. Hell, maybe. No, didn't they say they're keeping Hansi Flick?
Yeah, Hansi Flick is staying until at least the Euros, but there are a ton of World Cup countries looking for new management. But to talk quickly about the Champions League run, what was very exciting for me was 2 Scottish teams in the Rangers and Celtic. Rangers, the worst ever Champions League team in group stage history. We absolutely love to see that. Celtic were not great either, but we got 2 points. So
well, we'll bring up some of the other teams in the Champions League, but I think around November though. Because big teams. But just quickly, FIFA 23. Have any of us really played it much aside from the career mode?
I've played it lots.
Yeah, I think I should dabble into it. I did enjoy it. Just recently, we played pro clubs together. That was fun. I like that.
So much fun.
I know we used to record the pro clubs and put it out, but sometimes I just like gaming with the lads. I have a couple of drinks.
The comment that you put in the group chat was actually very. I read it a couple times. Like, you know what? He is right. And he was like, not everything needs to be a form of content.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you just, like you said, you just want to sit and play FIFA with your friends like you did when you were in junior high.
Yeah.
When you were 15 kind of thing. But yeah, we played pro clubs that night. It was a ton of fun. But speaking about FIFA 23, I have had a wonderful career mode save going on with Crawley Town.
Oh my God.
We're up to the championship, baby. We're having a great time.
I kind of go ahead.
I've United right now, and we were bad last year. We were outside of a Champions League spot for a long time, and then the final game of the year, we won, slid into third, got third, but then now this year we're just. I ended up selling. I swapped Ronaldo and like a couple million or something like that for Mbappe. And I'm just
transfers
like,
that only work in FIFA.
This team is sick.
Yeah, I didn't really dabble. I mean, I played it for the first month, and the World Cup came around. I haven't touched it since. So I played Ultimate Team, dabbled in everything, but I've been playing other games like Pokemon and stuff. That's fine. I just playing a little different everything. So, should we move on to October? Where
that's a face.
Ballon d'Or was awarded to Benzema. and he looked like Tupac Shakur.
He did.
But apparently, because I made a TikTok on that because you told me to make a TikTok on it, and then everybody was like, "Are you stupid? He's his idol," and I'm like,
where was this said?
"Sorry, bro."
Is this common knowledge? I don't think so.
Yeah, apparently he posts all these Tupac things and stuff.
He does wear a lot of his like stuff. Yeah, he likes. Yeah, I've seen that, but I don't think he's like. I didn't know he was his idol.
Yeah, he looked great though.
Benzema was actually very good though. When you think about Ballon d'Or nominees and deserving of the award, he definitely was for what he did for Real Madrid, scoring huge goals, but then also just what he won was outstanding.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and and then he doesn't. He gets hurt before the World Cup, and then there's that whole thing. It's like he could have went to the World Cup, but he decided not. Like it was all Deschamps and Benzema, France, weird relationship. I don't get it.
France has been forever with drama, forever.
And then honestly, moving on to November, the Champions League group stage finishes. Barcelona knocked down to the Europa League.
Hey,
who else got knocked out? Juventus. Man United still in the Europa League.
We out here, and Arsenal's there too.
Atletico Madrid finished bottom of their group.
That's another one I was thinking about. So,
but the World Cup started.
Mm-hmm.
November 20th. We get started. We're sitting down. We're ready for game one. Qatar versus Enter Valencia. I think that's what that game will always be remembered as, is just Enter Valencia, bro.
And Morgan Freeman.
Bro, that was so ridiculous.
It was a very interesting World Cup opening ceremony. We were like,
I got the message. What
is happening in front of me here? Like Morgan Freeman's got a fake glove hand going on here.
No, he wears a glove.
I know, but I was watching. I was like, does this man have a fake hand? Like,
why does he wear the hand?
He got into a car accident and his hand is like numb. It doesn't like move very well.
Okay, poor Freeman.
Yeah.
But
you want to keep making fun of it now? No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, it was just Qatar, they bow out to the tournament. Worst group stage finish for a World Cup host, I think.
I'm shocked.
We saw Canada
couldn't get it done.
We saw Canada score their first goal in the World Cup, play their first World Cup match since '86. Sure, didn't go the way we wanted, but we were happy to be there. We're learning a lot of lessons. John Herdman pissed off the Croatians by saying we're going to go F Croatia, and that kind of backfired, John. Sorry. So
he didn't even mean it like that. He didn't say we're like fuck Croatia. He meant it as we have to go out and fuck Croatia.
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole drama behind all that.
The Croatians put him on a newspaper, half nude. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that was wild.
Just the tournament in itself was fantastic.
Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. Yeah. Where is Messi? And then Saudi Arabia's out.
Exactly.
I think that day was the highlight for me in the World Cup because I woke up at like 4 a.m. I'm like, oh shit, Saudi Arabia's beating Argentina. I might as well watch the rest of this, and it was crazy. And then I watched Poland versus Mexico, and that was boring, and it was just nonstop that day. I loved it. It was crazy.
I think we can lump this into December as well because nothing really happened other than the World Cup.
Yeah.
Was this the greatest World Cup of all time?
I think right now it's easy to say since we're living in the moment, person in the moment kind of thing. But it's definitely up there. I personally think
most goals scored at a FIFA World Cup tournament was 2022. Most goals scored. So if you like attacking football, but then also the upsets, the teams that came out and had magical moments. Think of Japan, Saudi Arabia, Croatia, even Morocco, of course.
Yeah.
The upsets, like I said, Morocco had multiple upsets in their own tournament. For me, it was a fantastic World Cup, and I think it was fantastic because we were heavily involved in it by watching and posting and talking about the World Cup itself. But even like for a personal standpoint, I watched as much football as I could for a month straight. I would even on days when I was at work, I would have my phone on the games from like 7 a.m. till when that last game ended at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was on the entire way. I was like, my data bill is through the roof right now.
It was nice to kind of just turn on a game and have it on in the background. And yeah, the 2022 World Cup apparently has been voted as the best World Cup of the century by BBC users. So obviously Qatar, Japan, South Korea. Qatar 78%, and second was Japan and South Korea 6% in 2002.
I can see it. I can see why.
I don't know why.
Well, it's also like the most rigged World Cup of
Well,
all
it's
time.
BBC users.
Yeah, I know, but
But
still,
I'm
like,
surprised Brazil. Like I thought Brazil. I mean Germany 2006, Russia 4.
That
That
was a
makes
fun one.
sense. I don't know how South Africa is not even. I would put South Africa ahead of in number 3 or 2.
yeah,
Pretty
but
sure South Africa, England had a pretty bad time though in South
Yeah, I
Africa.
get fair enough. But
So they
think
did
about
Yeah,
that.
though, that
Is it-
World Cup final was potentially the greatest sporting event of all time.
oh, easily.
I've gone back and rewatched it, and even knowing the score, you
Mhm.
know, I'm sitting there in the 75th minute is 2-0 Argentina, and I'm going, this game's
done.
so dull, it's boring, it's done. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I was like, oh my god, no, it is not. It is.
Yeah.
Someone lit the firecracker.
And
kind of
Mbappe
thing.
scored. Oh, Mbappe scored again!
Bang! Punch through the curtain.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like there's so much. And I really think this year led up to the World Cup, obviously, but I think the World Cup led up to the World Cup final. And I think all of this year led up to the World Cup final. Think about all the greatness that was shared and distributed this year, and now we get to see it all come down in an accumulation in the final. Like we see Messi cement himself as the greatest of all time, Argentina finally bursting through that ceiling again and winning that trophy. There's one of the making of the next star in Kylian Mbappe. Like there's so much that was told as a story in that game that I think we're going to still be going back to that game and going, there's this guy, there's when this happened, there's when that happened. Hell, I was watching Monaco before, and I was watching Disasi play right back, and I'm going, I don't think I ever once, when watching a Monaco game, went, oh yeah, there's Disasi. Now after the World Cup, I go, oh yeah, there's Disasi. Like there's so many different things now that you're going to go afterwards this World Cup and go, oh, okay, I remember because of this.
It's always great when you see those players who you haven't really heard much about before get noticed during that World Cup and make their big money moves. I mean, the Canadian squad has already been hit by that as well. You know, there are players that had a great World Cup who we will see going to bigger European clubs, and it's great to watch that happen.
Look at Gakpo. Look at, I mean, you mentioned the Canadians and Johnson and Kone. I mean,
I'm sure Amrabat's going to make a big move. Yeah,
Amrabat's going to make a big move. Gonzalo Ramos is going to make a big move. Like, there's going to be a lot of guys making some sort of move here because of this transfer window, or because of this World Cup. Yeah, for sure.
The end of December, though, before we do wrap this up, and end of December, football's back already. I mean, we've already transitioned into the domestic leagues again. I mean, Rafael Varane's already playing again, even though he lost the World Cup final last week, it seems, you know. And
isn't that crazy though that Varane played?
Yeah, it is crazy. It really is. But you know, yes, I kind of think it was too quick for football to come back. You know, maybe they should wait for the new year. However, it has to happen. It has to go. You know, no one wanted a World Cup to be in the middle of the domestic season, but that's what had to be because FIFA. But it's back, and I'm so happy for it. I really am happy for it because I love
football back. Should we get into pundits predict?
Let's do that. Let's do, because
one last pundits predict.
There are some very big games coming up.
Powered by CoolBet.
Yes, powered by CoolBet, of course. Pundits predict.
Responsibly, of course.
Powered by CoolBet. Yes, but let's talk about which game should we predict first, Wazinho?
Let me see.
Did you forget which ones we're gonna predict?
Yeah, there's a few. I got the Serie A one I want to predict.
It's okay because I'm on CoolBet right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm before full transparency. We are recording this before the Manchester City match, and I am looking at our CoolBet exclusives right now, and I am putting some on our CoolBet exclusives.
What's
the
exclusive?
Erling Haaland over 3.5 goals versus Leeds. A, because it's Leeds, and B, because it's Leeds. Like, obviously he's from Leeds, so I just think he's gonna go out there and just fucking torment them and just make it fun.
Maybe he'll be very respectful and miss the net.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have Philly Foe over 2.5 assists. So those are currently sitting at over 2.5 assists at plus 4,000. And Erling Haaland, by the way, for some reason, for 4 goals, over 3.5 goals, the odds are plus 2,000. So I'm hitting the sauce today.
Well, Zeno, who were we going to predict? What was it?
So for the 30th, I was thinking we can predict Liverpool versus Leicester. Honestly, I'm going to give this to Liverpool. I'll give it like a 3-0 win. You got minus 294 for Liverpool currently here on CoolBet. Leicester plus 810 to win. Leicester have not had a great year, so it's like not much.
I'm going to go for a nice 4-1 victory for Liverpool.
Ooh.
You know what? Here's 4-1 victory. And does Brendan Rodgers get the sack?
I hope so. I hope so.
I don't know if you can really bet on that, but you probably could.
Leicester sitting 13th. I don't know. It's time to go.
I mean, they just lost 3-0 to Newcastle. And yes, Newcastle's second in the league, but still, they're shit. I'm not going to lie. Leicester is shit. So
yeah.
And Madison's out for a while now.
What's the hope? That Yuri Tielemans that guy has had 1 foot out the door since last summer. He doesn't care. Yeah, I'm going decisive 4-0 win and no goals from Darwin Nunez.
Now, I do believe I might try to upload this on the 29th. So hopefully, our CoolBet exclusive. Hopefully, Haaland scores plus 3 goals. Right.
As we go into the new year, 2023. January 2nd, I will be waking up very, very early that day because 5:30 a.m. our time is the Glasgow Derby, the Old Firm, Rangers versus Celtic. A huge game because top of the table is tight right now. At the time of recording, Celtic have a 9-point gap at the top of the table. So Rangers definitely need a victory here.
I will go with a 1-1 draw, but the current odds on CoolBet, it's plus 185 for a Rangers win, plus 145 for a Celtic win, plus 230 for a draw.
Yeah. So you're chasing the sauce.
Yeah. I'll go for the draw.
I'm behind it. The draw, the bra.
Yeah.
I'm you know what? Liam,
I know you.
I know you.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think Celtic's gonna win. Yeah, you're welcome. I think Celtic's going to win. I'll give it like a 2-1, 3-1 feel. I'll go 2-1. But what's the potential of that being Alistair Johnston's first match at Celtic?
Depends what's happening because there's a lot of talk of Juranovic getting a move to Chelsea because of Reece James's recent injury. So, hey, Chelsea, if you got 30 million laying around, we'll take that one. Thank you very much. I will predict I'll predict 2-0 Celtic. I think we'll
love it. You'll love to hear it. Clean sheet, good shot. Last game I want to predict for me personally. I want to go to Italy. Come back next week. Big match.
If you can't understand what he's saying, the Serie A comes back.
Are we doing 3 or are we doing 4?
I got 3 matches.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. You're good.
Inter Napoli next week. Big match. We have a plus 134 for Inter to win, plus 225 for Napoli to win, and a draw at 2 plus 40, plus 240. So I'm excited for this game because I love watching Kvaradona, Kvaratskhelia, the Georgian wonder child. Ah! What are we predicting?
Well, I'm predicting you to go change your underpants. My God.
Over under on the mess in his pants.
Yeah, it's definitely over. Definitely over. You know how I feel about the Italian league in Serie A. Whenever there's a big game that's hyped up, you know what the scoreline's going to be? 0-0, baby. So that's what I'm predicting.
This guy hates Italian football.
I just hate the big games. No. You know, oh my God, Juventus are playing Inter Milan. It's going to be great. 0-0 draw.
Also, potentially, the Tayshaun Buchanan derby. Both teams in potential conversations for Tayshaun Buchanan. Apparently, Inter wants him as a Denzel Dumfries replacement.
Oh, I can see that.
If so, a right wing back. I don't know. But I love watching both of these teams. If I'm going to be fairly honest here, you mentioned Kvekšelia. Yeah, I mean, Osherman is just a beast. Like, does he actually have a facial injury, or does he just wear that all the time?
Just loves the mask.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Like, it's baller and helps you play well. I don't care. Yeah, I'll go. You know what? I'll go Napoli 2-0.
I'll go to Napoli.
Fair enough. I'm behind that.
There we
Any
go.
other ones?
There was the Arsenal Newcastle game, which is
Oh.
first versus third. That's on the 3rd of January. I will predict 2-2 draw.
I was gonna say a draw too. I can see it being 2-2. I'll go behind. I'll go 1-1 draw just to change it up.
Interesting.
What you got? What do you have a prediction
For what?
for Arsenal Newcastle?
Oh, I totally forgot. Sorry, I spaced out there. I'll go 3-0 Arsenal.
3-0.
I'll go bold.
Newcastle's conceded 11 goals all season.
Well, you haven't faced Arsenal, the Gunners.
Fair
They
enough.
probably have, but
Fair enough.
You could be
Is
right.
there-
You could be
Is
right.
there anything else we should talk about before we wrap this up?
just Happy New Year's to everybody. Thank you for listening all year long, and thank you.
Yeah.
Genuinely, genuinely thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts for, I mean, Matt with a hammer on stream for how long was what was pumping content for us for a little bit. Thank you so much for being so patient with us over the last year. And thank you so much for being there in the change of Playmaker, of finally bringing back the FIFA career mode, the changes that we've all gone through. And we wouldn't be going through this without you and if it wasn't for you. So genuinely, thank you so much. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. And we hope you have a very happy new year. We hope you get everything you want in 2023. All the best, everybody.